YouTube. It's a course of faith and prophecy, and I've gotten a lot of flack for undermining Deion Sanders. Okay, like I understand it's a Division 1 school. Division 1, Division 2, it doesn't really matter. They're small schools. They're not big time schools like LSU, Alabama, Florida, Ohio State. Like you're not gonna see NFL teams draft players out of that school. Maybe in the 6th or 7th round, or they might go undrafted, but it's a small school. Okay, I'm just saying that Deion Sanders have a he has that old school type of mentality, which is obviously we got to get the best players. Like he's not thinking logically, he's thinking rationally. Like he's thinking like, okay, for this school to work, for this Jackson State University school to work, we gotta recruit the best of the best, which I have no problem with that. What I'm saying? If you want to build that school up to the top where, NFL scouts might say, what? I hear primetime is, handling that school very well. You know what I'm saying? Like he has the best of the best like he has the best of the best recruits over there. You know what I'm saying? His son is probably playing over there too. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes that doesn't necessarily equal to success. Okay? That's like the Philadelphia Eagles that year where they tried to take the best players from each team and tried to build their own dream team, kind of like how the NBA has it, which obviously it succeeded because they started 5-0, but then again, they faltered down the stretch and they finished the season 5-12. They lost their last 12 games. So that will always creep in the back of my mind. Because yes, talent will win you games, but talent alone will not get you far. Sometimes you need to balance that with people that just knows what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like players that gets it, because in tough times there's gonna be stretches where they may not even start the season off very well. You know what I'm saying? They might start off 0-2. Like these are still kids. These are kids coming out of high school. You know what I'm saying? Going into the college. You know, so everything is brand new to them. Everything is fresh to them. The stuff that they learn in high school may not be the same that they learn in college. Their formations, their their route runnings will always be the same, but the formations, the reads, like everything that they do in college may not transfer into college. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that it may work, it may not work. Like we've seen a lot of NBA players, NFL players trying to, see if they can coach. Like I remember when they had, Chuck, not Chuck, Patrick Ewing. Patrick Ewing wanted to be the head coach of the Georgetown, because obviously he went to school there. You know what I'm saying? So, like sometimes, sometimes stuff like that does not work. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not saying that Deion Sanders is gonna do a bad job, but I'm just saying like everything might go crashing into a halt because if you constantly just if you constantly looking for the best of the best talent recruits, be all means, like who doesn't want to win, in life, but it comes a time where you have to tweak it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to, you know, find, players that just has instincts, like Like he doesn't have to be talented. He just have to have great instincts, you know? And that's what the NFL players and that's what the NFL is looking for. You know, they're not looking for your talent. They're looking for if you know the game of football, ins and outs, you know? Like a Ray Lewis or Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu, you know, those guys wasn't talented. They just had the feel for the game, you know. And I don't think the players that he's bringing in fits that mold. I mean, yeah, they can run fast, they can block better, they can do all this, but if you don't win in the trenches, that's going to separate you from the rest of the group, you know. Because they have to learn how to face diversity. You know, in high school, they always keep on winning and winning and winning and winning and winning. You know, they're like they never tasted bitter defeat. But in college, you go up against other grown men, well, you know, men that's even 10 times bigger than you. You know what I'm saying? The games are longer. You know what I'm saying? Like it's different. The curfew might be different from college to pros. You know what I mean, from college to collegiate level. So everything that they have to transition, Deion Sanders have to transition with them. You know, because yes, Deion Sanders did coach high school, but that's high school. Like you really comparing high school to college football? Really? I know it's still the same game, but it's different. The playing level is different, you know, because you don't have pep rallies at, you know, like in high school every Friday you have pep rallies to begin the game, you know, that you're gonna play Friday that night. You don't have that in college, okay? Now everybody's gonna experience the college level, you know what I'm saying, the college experience, but the game is just different. The game is much faster, fast paced. You know what I'm saying? So they're gonna have to get ready for that, or they're gonna have to adjust to that, you know, concept. You know. But if it burns and crashes, then it burns and crashes. Because we've seen, you know, like I've seen former quarterbacks that have been Heisman winning quarterbacks that haven't really hacked it as an NFL quarterback, but they're darn good at calling plays. You know, Brian Leftwich, you know, he's the offensive coordinator. Kellyan Moore, he just got a he just had a he just got a he just got a head coaching job from Boise State University. I think it was yesterday or today. He had an offer. They gave him an offer to go to Boise State to coach. Now will he take it? I don't know. Like, does he feel comfortable? Does he feel comfortable calling plays for Dak Prescott or Andy Dalton? You know what I'm saying? Because once he leaves, he can't get that job back. You know what I'm saying? So it's a two-way street. Like, should he stay where he's at calling plays, or should he go? You know, obviously he's never been a head coach. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's another red flag. You know what I'm saying? Now these colleges are giving these former quarterbacks head coaching jobs, but nobody wants to talk about that. But as soon as Deion Sanders get the job, oh, you know, this and that. Like I remember, you know, one guy said that, well, yes, he's recruiting these guys, but he has to understand the bigger picture. It's not about just recruiting. It's about getting to know these individual players, you know, because not a lot of them that he knows outside of his son, because his son is also attending that school. You know what I'm saying? So outside of his son, he doesn't really know everybody on that team. You know, he said that everybody have a different personality. Some might like him, some might dislike him. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they all come from different backgrounds. You know what I'm saying? Single mothers. I mean, you know, like some of them are coming from a single mother household. Some of them probably have both of their parents, mom and dad. You know what I'm saying? Others didn't have neither. You know, probably grew up with their grandma or grandpa. So it's that type of mentality that he has to understand. Yes, Deion Sanders may have been a great player, but can he be a great head coach? That's different, because Deion Sanders prime time, he was playing the game. Now he has to coach the game, you know. So that's all I had to say. I'm not saying that he's gonna do bad. I'm not saying that he's gonna stink it up, you know, because when you hire or not hire, but when you recruit these high school kids, yes, they're gonna come in here with attitude and they're gonna come in here with feistiness and they're gonna, do this and do that. But when the tough gets going and then they lose five straight, six straight, what are their response to your head coach? Because they're not used to that type of atmosphere. They was always consumed of winning. Because in college, I mean, high school is like the easiest level in pro football, behind Pee Wee football. You know what I'm saying? Or Pop Warner, which I actually played all three. You know, I just didn't get the chance to play in college because I blew up my knee. You know, but obviously I transferred to basketball because I knew football was gonna be a short career. Like you play a position for 7 years. You know what I'm saying? You go from high school to college. You spend 3 years there, 4 years. You'll be eligible for the draft. Assuming if you're a top pick, if you're a middle pick, then you would have to probably wait until the next day, and you probably there's a chance that you may go undrafted. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that I just think that the NBA was an easy ticket to get to stardom. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, I never got the chance to because I blew out my knee. And the doctor said that there's chances that you may re-injure that same knee again. So that's going to be a level of concern. For basketball, for franchises that's drafting you, whether it's the NFL or the NBA. You know what I'm saying? So I had to give up my hopes and dreams. So I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, you have a lot of YouTubers that used to be, college football. You know, like B. Lou. B. Lou is a YouTuber that I followed. Like 3 years ago. He went to Tulsa. You know, short dude, but he was very fast. And I'm pretty sure he made a video about why he gave up his hopes and dreams to be in the NFL. Because he probably could have been in the NFL. He may have been undrafted, or he probably would have been picked in the seventh round, but, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, Russ Walker went undrafted and became the greatest, not if the greatest wide receiver of all time, in some people's opinion. So, would he make a great head coach? Just because you play the game, that doesn't mean that it equals to head coaching status. You know what I'm saying? But that's how it's. I mean, it's the new wave. You know, I mean, you're gonna see a lot of ex players from NFL or NBA adapting that adapting that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, can Shaq be a great head coach? Even if even if he was a great player, can Shaq manage a 12-man roster or a 52-man roster, depending on what he wants to coach, college or football, whatever? Like, can he actually manage a 12-man roster? People might probably say, hell no. He was a great player, but he may be a shitty ass head coach. Same thing for Deion. Deion was a pretty good player, but can that result into a head coach? And again, college is way different. That's like saying high school basketball and high school basketball versus college basketball. We all know college basketball is 4 quarters, okay? First, second, third, and fourth. High school basketball is 4 quarters. College basketball is only 2 quarters, but they play 15 minutes, okay? So Like, come on. People need to be, smart about this stuff. They're just don't just go buy off of what Deion Sanders is saying, because Deion Sanders have to say those things to hype himself up. You know, like if he just goes out there and recruits a whole bunch of bums, then he wouldn't even have a job that long. He would have been probably fired his second year. Obviously they're not gonna fire him off the rip, but they'll give him his second year. They'll give him a second year to redeem himself, and then after that you'll probably see like a little change, and then he'll still underachieve. It may not work. It may work. It may not work. We don't know. So that's why we all have to sit back and watch. But don't just attack me just because I said what I felt, and I've seen that happen numerous of times where coaches recruit the best players from, each high school, and it didn't result to nothing. They wind up missing the playoffs. They probably went like what 5-12, and they got fired their second year. It happens. You know, like again, hard work beats talent when talent. Wait, hold on. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work, right? Like, would you pick a hard worker or would you pick somebody that's super talented? Because you can have all the talent in the world, but if that doesn't result into winning, what's the whole reason? What's the reason? You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying that Deion Sanders is gonna have a bad season. But sometimes you have to question his decision making, you know? Like look at all those players that he recruited. I bet you not one of them is white. And I'm not saying this to be racist or have a race war, but it kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like you have to tweak it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? To have some type of balance, you need colors of all players, whether they're black, white, whatever. You know, I'm pretty sure there is some white males in that team. Maybe probably on defense, probably on offense. But the way I see him drafting, or the way I see him recruiting, I should say, is different. Everybody recruits differently. Mike Mayhawk, y'all remember Mike Mayhawk, right? He used to be the analyst of the Monday night games. Now he's the GM of the 49ers. Like he always wanted to be the GM of the New York Giants. He never got that chance. Within 2 years he already flipped that organization, and then it was at the Super Bowl. Why? Because he knew the ins and outs. He knew how to tweak a defense to get them to where they're at. And I don't think Deion Sanders understands that. I'm still thinking that he's still in his this mindset of, okay, we're gonna get the best players. What I'm saying, that talent has to offer, and then we're gonna see where we got. Because come on, Deion Sanders is not the most intelligent person out there. Okay, he's not. Like he's not thinking. He's not thinking logically. He's thinking rationally. And there's two different types of thinking. Rationally is when you obviously thinking, off the fly. Like you just going on what people say, or you just thinking about what you want to do. Logical thinking is thinking 10 times farther than other people. You know, and I always say this to my sister, like, just because you buy the fanciest cars and the fanciest watches and the fanciest house don't mean that you living your best life, you know? Like you can buy a crappy car from '06 and you could still be riding that car in 2020, you know? Like keeping up with society, you're gonna go broke, you know? Like these PlayStation 5s that's coming out, and I'm sorry if I'm getting off the topic, but these PlayStation 5s are coming out. Give them about a good 5 year, good no, give them about a good 10 years. They're gonna go out of style, and then you know what? They're gonna wait until the next console comes out, and then guess what? Another 10 years, that's gonna go out of style, and it's gonna keep on continuing. The cycle is always gonna keep continuing. That's why I still have my Xbox 360. I just need to get another one because you know I feel like the discs are like scratching up. So I'm just gonna get a brand new one, or I might probably just get a PlayStation 3, and then that's it. Like I don't have to keep on I don't have to keep on keeping up with society for what? Why do I have to keep up with society? You know? Like why do I have to get a car that came out in 2022? Or 2000? Why do I have to keep up? Why do I have to buy a console that came out in 2020? Why do I have to like some of these houses, the houses I'm in right here, this was built in '05. This house was built in 2005. I was not even living here in 2005. Okay? I was living somewhere, in the northern part of Florida in 2005. This house is never going to go out of style because they're going to keep on flipping it. We're going to move out, the next people is going to move in, and it's going to keep on flipping. So that's what Deion Sanders has to put in his mind. Like, okay, do I want talented football players or do I want smart and productive football players? Because you can't get the two. You can either get smart and productive or you can get talented. And and talent will only get you so far. And you can have a bunch, like Deion Sanders can have a bunch of players that's super talented. If they don't know how to win together, if they don't know how to lose together, if they don't know how to handle adversity together, they're gonna self-destruct. They're gonna self-destruct, and then you're gonna hear rumors about they're planning on firing Deion Sanders from Jackson State University because of this, or the players and the head coach are not getting along, and you know what I'm saying. So stuff like that happens, So to prevent that, you got to think rational. You got to think logically, and I don't think Deion Sanders get that. So I mean, y'all can hate me, y'all can bash me. I don't give a damn. But I know what I see because my grandpa, he was an offensive coordinator. For 18 years, he was an offensive coordinator. So he told me the ins and outs of how to keep a roster, how to retool a roster every single year. You know? If you see the Patriots, almost every year, why do you think that the Patriots never have a star player? When they had Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, they never had a top receiver when they had Randy Moss. Outside of Randy Moss, who did they have that was top notch? Nobody. Because they knew the structure. They knew how to manipulate the system. Okay? We see teams now that's trying to get these big time acquisition free agencies. For what? It's just only one player. One player. You don't think that next year we can have another Aaron Donald? Aaron Donald is nothing special. He's just a defensive tackle. You know what I'm saying? So you can find another defensive tackle that's even 10 times better than him in the draft. Okay? Same thing with Randy Moss. Now, Randy Moss was just a freak of nature. There's never going to be another Randy Moss in the NFL again. I'll tell you that much. The way the NFL is played today, everything is favored by the offense. You'll never find that again. But in terms of production, like you will always find another Odell Beckham Jr. You're always going to find another AB. You're not going to find another Julio Jones. You're not going to find another Larry Fitzgerald. You're not going to find another Jerry Rice. It just happens. Like you're going to find another Terrell Owens. You're going to find another Chad Ochocinco. So players like that you'll always find. Team players like Larry you'll never find again. Like players like freaking like Toomer, Anami Toomer, the receiver for the Giants, you'll never find again. Like there's just certain players that you'll never find. There's certain players you will find. You know what I'm saying? It's just how you search and look about things. So, like I said, man, I'm not wishing that, Deion Sanders have a bad season. I'm not wishing that. I'm just saying like his thought pattern, the way he thinks is questionable. I'm quite like it bugs me and it bothers me the way he thinks, you know? Like cuz he doesn't think like a head coach. He's thinking like a player. And that's what bugs me, you know? Like if he was thinking if he was thinking as a coach, I wouldn't even come on here and spill this hot beans, you know? But since he's thinking like a player, and that's what I'm thinking, because as a player, you want to get the best of the best, you know? Just like how you are a defensive end or a defensive tackle or a free safety, like you want the players around you to get better. You want the players around you to be better. You want your cornerback to be better. You want your front line to be better. You want your linebackers to be better. You don't want to be playing with a fourth string and a fifth string and a third string. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to play with the best of the best, and that's how he thinks. He's an old school type of dude. Coming out of Fort Myers, which obviously I live in Lehigh, so I mean, well, back then I live in Lehigh, but for right now I live in Orlando. I had to move because Lehigh is just a small area in Florida. There's nothing to do really down there. Like it's dirt dry. That's why I had to move. You know, but it is what it is. But like I just know how people down here thinks. They don't think rationally. Especially people in Fort Myers, Florida. Like they do not think logically at all. Like they don't see the bigger picture. They just see talent and money, and then that's it. And hope and that if that's the case, that's how Deion Sanders thinks. It's not his fault. That's just the way he was raised, I guess. So I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, man, I'm not wishing him, bad. I'm not wishing that he has a bad season or this. I'm just questioning his mindset, his thinking pattern. The way he thinks. Like he needs, like I think he needs to adjust. Just like how every white NFL coach or just a white like he needs to think like a white man. Like he needs to think like a businessman. And I don't think he's doing that. I think he's just going off of what he knew as a child growing up. You know what I'm saying? Because he was always around great players. You know, from Florida State University. You know what I'm saying? To going to NFL, being picked like if you look at the teams he was in, he was always surrounded by great players. He was never in a situation where he was drafted, where he was never in a situation where he was surrounded by a bunch of bums, by a bunch of fourth string, third string, you know, players. It was either first or second starters, you know. So, I mean, again, that's just how he thinks. And if people have a problem with it, then let your voice be heard. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna bash anybody for being like I'm not gonna bash anybody for speaking their mind. You know what I'm saying? Just like how I have an opinion, you might have an opinion. Like people might think that, yeah, man, you're right. Like Deion Sanders, he is thinking rationally. Like he's not thinking like a businessman. Others might think, oh, you just hating, oh, you this, oh, you that, oh, he hasn't really played a game yet, this and that, which is true. But again, it goes back to his thinking progress. You know, the way he thinks is gonna dictate where this team goes. That's just it. Like, comment, subscribe. On to next time. Take care of yourself and each other.